I've seen people, I have known friends in the past who have traveled or migrated abroad for love, and they get there, marriages don't work out, they have to get back home. Zilch is what they are taking back with themselves. Like, the man or the woman doesn't go back with anything at all. My name is Chinyere. If this is your first time of ever watching any of my videos, well, you can check up on YouTube. I'm sure you get to see the series of videos I have posted already and get to understand what this personality is about. But today, guys, I'm doing something quite different, and I believe that this one, even though it is different, will be very interesting and relatable for someone out there, especially the group of people who have already made the move for love abroad, or those who are planning to move abroad for love in the future. So in the number of years that I have lived abroad, which in the grand scheme of things is not so much, I mean only 4 years, I have come across countless number of relationships that have experienced fragmentations that I will more or less say is unnecessary, but because people are not exactly equipped with information or what to expect when they get to make these moves, some mistakes are made and then things go like really sour for them. And I wish that someone had actually told me all of these things before I made that move, because probably I wouldn't have made some mistakes myself in the past. And so if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, guys, you can hit the play button down below there, and also like this video and leave a comment down in the comment section. Let's have more intellectual conversations about this topic. In the meantime, let's get to the topic of the day. So, traveling abroad to join a spouse, for most people, comes with very romantic ideas. You get to feel this series of emotions, like the excitement of packing your bags to leave your country, to start life in a new place with new people. There's also the fear of the unknown, moving from the known to the unknown. And then the pain that you're going to miss out on all of your loved ones, their parties, when they have their babies, when things are happening in your family. All that pain gets to just accrue and makes you feel sad. But then again, I mean, like, reality has come and you have to move. I remember back in the day, of course, I like to go down memory lane when I was in Nigeria. So I had done this job for about 2 years. It was a government job, a federal government job. And if you know the public service in Nigeria, it kind of gives you flexibility, time to do your own stuff, and also stability or security, as it may be. So I had this job, and I had done that job for 2 years before I got married. This job gave me time for myself. I could have other stuff that I wanted to do. So it was a public job, or a public service job, and I was also able to do like practice in a private firm. So I was earning in 2 places and it wasn't clashing, like there was no problem at all, and I was able to live this double life. Eventually, when my visa got out, of course that happened like a month after I had gotten married. For some people that's like a miracle, because I mean, like, some women actually, or men, get to wait like years and years on ending after their partners have left the country, because securing a visa seems impossible. But luckily for me though, my visa was out in a month's time, and of course reality started to set in that I had to move. So I decided to seek some suggestions from a group of people who were much older than me in my office about what to do, how exactly am I going to do this federal government juicy job that I had, and how can I keep it. So a number of people had suggested that I should try to secure a study leave for at least 2 years, which will allow me to travel abroad, and just in case I get there and my marriage doesn't get to work back, then I can come back home to Nigeria to at least see if I can start my life all over again without experiencing a setback. Like, I come back and I don't have a job at all for myself. And of course, as we all know, customarily it's usually the woman that has to move abroad to join her spouse. Of course, there are some special cases where we see that men have to also move. There's no special rule to it though, but men also get to move to join their spouses. But customarily, it is usually the women that have to make that move, if we are true to ourselves. So eventually I had to make this life-changing experience and travel out of Nigeria to go start life for myself. And of course, everything started to happen at the same time. So the first point I'll be making here will be, get ready for a setback in your career or ambition. I wasn't ready for this at all. Like, I wasn't even expecting this to happen. I just felt, oh, I had registered with the board that had to do with my profession here, so once I arrived, of course there was going to be a job waiting for me here. And this setback could arise in the form of a step down from the salary scale. It could also be a step down from the kind of jobs that you are used to. I mean, some people say that they have to travel abroad, probably leaving like their top managerial positions in banks to become taxi drivers, which of course there's dignity in labor, but for them it might be like a major step down from what they were used to. Or it could just be the unavailability of a job. I mean, like you could actually arrive in a certain country and realize there is nothing at all for you to do, so you probably have to go back to school to start all over again. I have heard stories from lots of my friends who are probably like female doctors that have traveled to the United States to join their spouses, and then they get there realizing that they have to write all of these exams with USMLE, and it's just the whole idea of trying to balance life and starting motherhood or start to become a father. It just kind of moves you away from your normal balanced position, and it can be quite a setback for some people before they get to find their feet all over again. And God help you at all, like you eventually get there, and maybe you've lived with this particular spouse for a number of like 3 to 4 years. This person decides, okay, it's time for me to move to another country, because I mean, like once you've moved the first time, there's always a tendency for you to move again. And when you get to move to this other place, then you're like, oh, I'm still trying to find my feet, and then this person has to move all over again. But my rule of thumb at this point is just try to reinvent yourself, find a niche for yourself, try to recreate yourself wherever you find yourself. I mean, like thankfully there's the world of social media, and we can always just try to find ourselves something else to do. Before I started working, actually I started doing my YouTube, and this was something that kept me going. I wasn't earning anything at all at the time, but at least I kind of kept myself busy. And my second point will be the experience of loneliness and loss of identity. Guys, this one I felt like in all of my bones. So I remember when I first arrived here, and every time I had to introduce myself to someone, or every time I was being introduced, it was always, oh, meet my wife, meet Christopher's wife, oh, meet. And I became Christopher's wife. Even identifying myself to my landlord when I was sending text messages like, oh, come and collect your rent, I was, please, Christopher's wife is sending you a text message, please come and pick up your rent. And I realized it was not just the physical movement that I had to do, it was also the mental changes that I also had to go through. And as the days went by, of course days would turn into months, I realized all I was doing was sleeping, eating, and waking up in the house. Eventually I added the pleasure of going out to window shop. And of course when you go out to window shop, guys, you go out there and you buy things that you do not need at all. So I had to take a step back and just think about my life. Do I want to pursue my career, or do I want to start having kids? Which of course life teaches you the hard way to know that some things you just do not have control over. Or do I want to just become a housewife and help this man propel his career to where he dreams and aspires to get to? Having a supportive spouse or partner who of course helps to boost your ego and supports you through all of those days that you're going through, of course, is very necessary. But to be honest, not everybody has that opportunity of someone who is supportive, and you'll be surprised at how draining this can be, because you're just sitting down there wondering, what exactly am I doing in this part of the world? Did I just live my entire life to come here to help someone else to grow? And it can be really draining, in as much as sometimes you realize that even the other person that you're probably even helping by taking care of the house might not even acknowledge all of the sacrifices you're making. Third point, which I'm going to be sharing here, will be more of an advice, and I'm not trying to sound all negative here, guys. I am just trying to be more realistic here, because I mean, we walk into signing all these contracts that we do not exactly understand the terms and conditions that come up with it, and then we get to walk into all of the problems that we eventually get to face. So this is more of an unpopular opinion for the sake of argument, and I'll just be saying, acquire knowledge bordering around the laws of the country that you are moving to. And by these laws, I mean like immigration laws, divorce laws, employment laws, because you really do not know what to expect. Nobody walks into a marriage expecting to have a divorce at the end of it, but these things get to happen. I was reading some research some time ago, and I came across something that stated that 1 in 8 expats get to move abroad for love. 16% of all of us are now single, and 6% are considering divorce or separation. And this is of course things that get to happen. It might not be such a huge number, but you'd be surprised at the kind of things that people get to face. Family laws get to vary from country to country, and so it is important that you know what the law is in the country that you have moved to. Take for instance, in Nigeria, for you to file for a divorce, you have to have at least lived apart from your partner 2 to 3 years, and that depends on, of course, what is happening in between those 2 to 3 years. Here in Ireland, you have to have at least lived apart 4 to 5 years. Prenup is not enforced here, and of course it's really expensive, so most people just look back at all of these things and decide, okay, let's just live together as separated couples. We are not married anymore, but we are living together in the same house, because of course trying to go start our lives all over again will just take all of the money that we have acquired over the years, and they just decide not to go in for divorce. Trust me, lots of people are living around you, they are separated, but they will not let you know. So these are just things that you need to know for yourselves. They'll get to protect you, because honestly, people are walking blindly into all of these contracts, signing contracts that, because of the emotional pressure and the social pressure that comes around with it, without finding out the truth about what the legal implications of marriages are, people just fall into all of these hassles, and it's just absolutely not exactly the best for them. So guys, I've been talking since morning, I'm tired. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and let me know what you feel about this topic in the comment section, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care of yourselves, guys. Goodbye.